Hello, my dear student. Today we are going to start our second chapter from the civic side, and the name of our chapter is Federalism. So, in the previous chapter, we noted that vertical division of power among different level of government, and that is one of the major form of power sharing in modern democracies. But in this chapter, we focus on this form of power sharing, that is the federalism. It is most commonly referred to as federalism. So now one question come in front of us, that is, what is federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Usually, a federalism has two levels of government. One is the government for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a new subject. It means for a few subjects of common and national interest. The others are government at the level of provinces or state that look after much of the day-to-day administrating of their state. And these both the levels of government enjoy their power independent of the others. Now we'll discuss the key features of federalism. So there are some different key features of the federalism. One by one we'll discuss. First, there are two or more levels of government, but in India there are three levels of government. Second, different tiers of government govern the same citizen, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in a specific matter of legislation, taxation and administration. Number 3, the jurisdiction of the respective levels or tiers of government are specified in the constitution. So, the existence and authority of each tier of government, it is constitutionally guaranteed. Fourth, the fundamental provision of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require the consent of both the levels of the government. If they want the changes, so they just want the consent from both the levels of government. Fifth, courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the power of different level of government. The highest court act as a empire if disputes arise between different level of government in the exercise of their respective powers. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. And the last features, that is, the federalist system has dual objective. First, that is to safeguard and promote unity of the country, and while at the same time it accommodate regional diversity. So there are two aspects of crucial for the institution and practice of federalism. There are some countries, they have just the federal government, like Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Germany, India, Mexico, Switzerland and the United States. These are the countries have federal government. What makes India a federal country? So India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partitions. Early after independence, several princely states became a part of the country. The constitution declared India as a union of states, although it did not use the word federalism. And Indian Union is based on the principle of federalism. two-tier system of government. The Constitution originally provided a two-tier system of government. First, that is the union government or central government. The second, the state government. Three-tier system of government. A third tier of federalism was added later in the form of panchayat and municipalities. The Constitution clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state government. Thus, it contained three lists. First, union list. Second, state list. Third, concurrent list. So, one by one we'll discuss all three lists. So, first we'll discuss about the union list. It includes subjects of national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication and currency. As we need a uniform policies on this matter throughout the country, the union government alone can make laws related to the subject mentioned in the union list. Second, that is state list. It contains subjects of state and local importance like police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state government alone can make law relating to the subject mentioned in the state list. And third, that is concurrent list. It includes subjects of common interest to both the union and the state government like education, forest trade union, marriage, adoption and succession. Both the union and the state government can make law on this subject. If there are laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. What about the subjects? It means now one question come in your mind that what about subjects that do not fall in any of the three lists? So, according to our constitution, the union government has the power to legislate of this residuary subject. It means the leftover subject which do not fall in any of the three lists like union list, state list and concurrent list. And this subject like computer software. So, this type of subject that came up after the constitution was made are known as residuary subject. And the union government has the power to legislate on this residuary subject. Status of union territories. So, there are some units of the Indian Union which enjoy very little power. And these are areas which are too small to become an independent state but which could not be merged with any of the existing states. It means दिस एरिया आर टू स्मॉल, इतने छोटे होते हैं कि इनको इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट बनाया नहीं जा सकता है और न किसी स्टेट के अंदर इनको मर्ज किया जा सकता है. सो दिस इज नोन एज द यूनियन टेरिटरीज. सो दिस एरियाज लाइक चंडीगढ़ और लक्षद्वीप और द कैपिटल सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली आर कॉल्ड यूनियन टेरिटरीज. These territories do not have the power of a state. The central government has the special power in running these areas. Okay. So now sharing of power between union and state government. It means how the union and state government share the power. So our constitution determines the extent of the sharing of power between the union government and the state government. And it is the basic structure of the constitution. It means the parliament alone cannot change this. Any changes to it has to be first passed by both the house of the parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Then it has to be cleared by the legislature of at least half of the total seats. And in case of any disputes regarding to the division of power, the High Court and the Supreme Court make a decision. Both the union and state government has the power to raise resources by laying taxes in order to carry on the government and the responsibilities assigned to each them. So dear student, here our this particular topic is completed. In this topic we have seen about the Indian India as a federal country, two-tier system of government, three-tier system of government, and we have discussed about the three lists like union list, state list, and concurrent list, and status of union territories and sharing of power between union and state government. Okay, so now in the next video we'll continue our chapter with the how is federalism practiced. Thank you.